My name is Douglas Layton, and I am here today with two very important women in my life, my daughter, Annalise, and a good friend, Virginia Snyder. They have been very instrumental in a book I recently published called Grandpa Charlie, The Untold Story of Whitey Bulger. I'd like to ask both of them today, what is it about the book that is so important to you?
It's important to me that justice come out, and I don't trust anyone else but you, Dad, to present this story in a raw way that's honest and pure and the right way. That's why I didn't come out with it years ago when we found out who, James Bulger really was. I didn't want anyone else to tell the story because you're the one to do it.
As far as I'm concerned, Doug, I just feel like I just lucked into something great when I met you because we were on the same wavelength about justice. And when I read your book and read the original manuscript, I said, boy, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he's had passion for justice and passion for things being accurate and passion for good research. And that's my kind of guy.
What initially inspired me to write the book was my daughter. She was living in an apartment while I was overseas in Iraq. It happened to be the same place where James Bulger was living, who she didn't know as James Bulger at the time. She knew him as Charlie Gasco and privately as Grandpa Charlie.
At the time that I met Charlie Gasco, aka James Bulger, I was in a dark period in my life. I wasn't really trusting a lot of people. I wasn't talking to a lot of people. I had just been through some trying times in my life. So when I moved into that apartment complex, Charlie and Carol Gasco, the alias they went by, they were warm from day one. They made me feel like I could trust them. The whole thing is overwhelming for me. I mean, I understand he's guilty of many horrible things he did, and I'm not trying to take away from the guilt or make him out to be an innocent person, but I only knew one man. I only knew one half of him, and that was Grandpa Charlie half. The half that was kind to me in the hallway and stopped my kids, went out of the way to grab hold of my kids and teach them little lessons or tell them to look out for each other or, twirl them around his leg. And I only knew that part of him, and he was kind and he was caring and he was a good man. So that's the only part I can tell. That's the only story I can share, and I want to thank him for that dark part of my life that I went through, for bringing a little bit light into that.
I was amazed to hear her story of how she had not just lived in the same building with him, but had actually befriended him and become somewhat close to him. When I heard all this, and now knowing that he had been arrested and was being tried for multiple murders, 19 murders in all, he was brought to trial for, I was shocked. My daughter, being who she is, initially wanted to write letters to everyone about the other side of Whitey Bulger that she knew. We advised her for a number of reasons just to keep quiet about the whole matter. As time went on, and she and I talked about the issues surrounding Whitey Bulger over the course of the years, we both began to realize that there were some things about the case that we are very passionate about. I did a great deal of research about the man because my interest had been piqued, and in studying the case and the trial that he went through and all the surrounding issues, I came to believe that justice was not done in the trial of James Bulger.
The book is important because, number one, it shows how injustice our criminal justice system is. In other words, I like to call it our criminal injustice system, by actual research and actual examples, which is what I had done over the years, and I knew he was right on target for it. The tone of Dr. Layton's book is such that it draws the reader in. Even if they wouldn't ordinarily be thinking about research or interested in these things, you can't help but be interested when you read the stuff that he has found and is talking about. He's an excellent writer, absolutely fantastic. I trust his research, I trust his knowledge, and I trust the way he goes about things. He's objective, he's very detailed, he never lets any little thing slip by him. He follows right up. That's just so important when you're doing research.
When you get to the end, I think you'll find what the point of the book really is. I want people to stop and think. we accept the way things are so easily, but it's important, I'm an historian, important to look back on how did we get where we are today. If we don't understand our history, we cannot understand our presence, and therefore we cannot build a future. People accept things today thinking that they were always this way, that we always had these powerful entities in the central government that had the right for national security reasons to deny us our privacy or to commit acts that are unconstitutional. It's not so. It was not always that way. And we need to look back and ask ourselves, how did we get here? And if we realize that where we are is not where we were and where we are supposed to be, then we need to stop and take the necessary actions available to us to correct the situation. For me, it's writing a book. For you, it may be how you vote in an election or what you write to your congressmen or senators and so on. But for me, I can tell you enough is enough. I don't like the way things are and I want them to change, and that's why I wrote the book.